If you're a highly sensitive person like me, you know that while it comes with a lot of gifts, like heightened creativity and empathy and intuition, it's also got its fair share of challenges. Life can feel pretty overwhelming at times from all that environmental, emotional, and social stimulation, and we don't always have the opportunity to retreat in our cozy little cocoons the way that we want to whenever we feel like it. As highly sensitive people, we've got quite a few different needs than the average person, and in order to experience real well-being, it's really important that we tend to those needs. These are 7 different ways that you can give your sensitive soul exactly what it needs to boost your overall happiness and well-being. As a highly sensitive person, the first step to boost your overall happiness and well-being is to really lean into the gifts that come with being highly sensitive. Because our sensitivity can be so challenging at times, and because our gifts come so naturally to us, it can sometimes be easy to forget that we even have these abilities to begin with. Creativity, empathy, intuition, attention to detail, self-awareness, careful planning and decision-making, open-mindedness, being tuned into our environment and the people around us. These are all really incredible superpowers that make us uniquely qualified to be the artists, the healers, the visionaries, the thinkers, and the innovators of this world. And while we really need to lean into our gifts as a highly sensitive person, it's also really important to respect our limitations. Now, this can be really hard. Most of us don't actually want to admit that we have any limitations, but ignoring our limitations really just depletes our energy and dishonors who we really are. But when we recognize and understand and then work with our limitations rather than against them, ironically, we actually create the right conditions for us to really thrive. So for HSPs, this means meeting our need for extra downtime, solitude, processing time, creating strong boundaries, and reducing stimulation wherever possible. Next is to turn your home into your sanctuary. Our high need for extra solitude and downtime means that it's really important to create a peaceful, beautiful, calming, cozy environment for us to fully rest and recharge. So you want to choose inspiring, calming decor, softer colors, some plush pillows, blankets, rugs, cozy, comfortable furniture, maybe some plants, and then of course try and keep clutter to a minimum. You can also try and make the most of your heightened senses, so think about trying out some aromatherapy oils, using soft lighting, playing soft music, and then trying to introduce in a mixture of different textures. Sleep is also really important for us, so use calming colors, maybe try some white noise, a sleep mask and earplugs if you need it, I know I do. Keep the temperature cool, and then you can also try using an air filter if you've got allergies or, things tend to get stuffy in your room at night. If you're liking these tips so far, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. You can also hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I put out one of these videos. Next up is to adopt a less but better philosophy. So because we tend to feel overwhelmed really easily, it really makes sense to try and adopt more of a minimalist philosophy. And it also means focusing on quality over quantity. So at home, this means decluttering. It means buying fewer but higher quality items. It also involves being more intentional with what we do with our time, including our social interactions. So really making space for high quality time with people we truly want to spend time with, and then reducing time with people we don't particularly want to spend time with. At work, this can mean trying to work on just 1 or 2 projects at a time, and again, really focusing on that quality over quantity. Focusing on quality, that's going to be really easy for a lot of us who are perfectionists, and then we really want to delegate anything that we can just in order to get as much of our plates as possible. And then speaking of the less but better philosophy, I'd really love to invite you to join my weekly Less But Better newsletter. This is a business and lifestyle newsletter specifically for secretly sensitive entrepreneurs. So I've linked to that down below. All right, next is express your emotions freely. So as HSPs, if you're like me, you might have grown up with a lot of people telling you that you're too sensitive, or you should toughen up, or that you overreact. And so we end up actually trying to hide our sensitivity because it just makes us feel weak and vulnerable. Now, while we may experience heightened emotions compared to some, we're still experiencing very real human emotions. So we need to be allowed to express those emotions whenever we want to. So this means really spending time with friends and loved ones that you feel really comfortable sharing your feelings with and not like you have to hide them. Another way to find happiness as an HSP is to make sure that you're doing meaningful work. So HSPs often find it really, really difficult to do work that's either really boring or they can't attach some sort of a greater meaning to. So if you can, try to find work that really capitalizes on your strengths, like your creativity, your empathy, your intuition, or your really great attention to detail. Self-employment or owning your own business is usually a really good option for HSPs because it gives you the freedom to actually do work that you want to do and to do it on your own terms, whatever that looks like. It's a really good idea if you can to avoid work that's especially depleting. So that could be work that involves conflict or competition, noisy environments, repetitive tasks, or especially toxic work cultures. Now, if you're at a job that isn't particularly engaging or you don't really feel like you're attached to any sort of like greater meaning, try and look for ways where you can extract a little bit more meaning out of the job. So like if you're a customer service agent, maybe you really focus on creating and building connections with your customers. Or if you're doing something like really boring or repetitive, is there a way that you can kind of focus on the outcome and the impact that the end result is going to have? Finally, it's so important as highly sensitive people that we give ourselves an outlet for our really heightened emotions, because we really need a way to release the pressure valve of all of that overstimulation that we get. So really try to have some sort of daily practice that acts as a pressure valve. So this could be quiet walks, yoga, those are two of my absolute favorites, spending time in nature, petting your dog, you could be creating art, journaling, doing some breathing exercises, meditation, even coloring, talking to a loved one, anything to just release all of that built up pressure. Well, there you have it. I hope that you found some of those tips useful and you can use them to boost your overall happiness as a highly sensitive person. If you liked this video, please do hit that like button, consider subscribing, and share this video with all of the sensitive souls in your life. Again, if you want to join my Less But Better newsletter, go ahead and find the link to that down in the description below.